Welcome to the Sharad Kohli Show, where I try and decipher for you the complicated topics and subjects related to economics, business, finance, tax, stock markets. My aim is to augment your wealth, to increase your income, at least to prevent you from incurring losses. You saw the thumbnail. Gold touched recent week's all-time high of $4,332 last night. And one of the main reasons was the unemployment numbers which came yesterday from America, 1,99,000 rupee numbers. These were the number of people who filed their jobless claims in America. Jobless claims. In America, if you are jobless, you file it with the government and the government gives you an allowance. So these numbers were fairly on expected terms. Probably little more than earlier, 1,98,000, 1,99,000. Not a very healthy number. And in terms of gold, this is considered as a very important parameter because they say if more people are unemployed, the personal consumption expenditure goes down, because of which the demand falls. If the demand falls, the prices don't rise, which is the inflation doesn't happen. If the inflation doesn't happen, the central bank, which is the Federal Reserve in America, doesn't increase the interest rates. If the interest rates don't rise, the bond yields don't rise. If the bond yields don't rise, gold and silver go up. So that is the remote connection between the unemployment numbers and gold and silver. But I'll come to gold and silver because tonight is going to be very important for gold and silver, and you must know what is going to happen over tonight, which in India we'll come to know about that tomorrow morning. So let's see what happened. Now on the geopolitical front, Iran and America war seemingly has stopped, but it is still simmering because Iran has threatened the Middle East nations that if you do not stop your friend America, we are going to hammer you like anything. That is a categorical warning which Iran has given. On the other side, Iran said that we are not going to allow from Strait of Hormuz the ships belonging to America and Israel pass through. Now that led to tensions in the crude oil market again. The crude oil, which is below $80, again shot up to $83. Because of that, the dollar index, which was heading closer to 99, again seemed to be heading closer to 100. The bond yields, which had come close to about 4.6, now again are moving from 4.65 to 4.67. A minor movement here also matters. It may look like in decimals, but it does matter. So that led to tension. And of course, there was some profit booking in gold and silver, and gold at one point of time had come down to 42.50 and even below that for that matter. There was some selling pressure in anticipation that the bond yields may again start rising. More on geopolitics. The war between Yemen and Saudi Arabia seemed to be intensifying, seemed to be more aggravated at this point. We don't get the news, but the capital of Yemen, Sana'a, was under attack, the areas around, from Saudi Arabia, because now Saudi Arabia wants to target the Houthis just the way Israel was targeting Hezbollah and the Hamas in the last few months. So Saudi Arabia wants to target the Houthis. So that has probably aggravated the war around the Bab al-Mandeb, another very important water route for trade. That was another flashpoint as far as geopolitics is concerned. Back there in America, the Republican candidate in Michigan lost to a Democrat-supported candidate called Al-Said. This was a huge setback for the Republicans, and President Trump is obviously not very happy. He called that candidate as a communist. So the situation, and then of course, the famous altercation, or famous, I would say, confrontation between President Trump and Peter Hegseth, the defense secretary, because he had said earlier that we are running out of missiles, Patriot, THAAD, Tomahawk, that we've almost depleted the stock to the extent of 1/3 or 1/2 or whatever. And President Trump wasn't happy that who leaked out that information. This information should not have gone in the public, and quite obviously so, because it can provoke the enemies of America, or it can rather instigate the enemies to make them think that America has become more vulnerable now. They've run out of missiles. Imagine these missiles are interceptors. So Peter Hegseth got told off, and I think there was some argument. And after that, President Trump said, no, he's a very nice man. Everything seems to be okay. So that was also a matter of concern there. Now, why is tonight important for gold and silver? We need to understand. Because tonight, the overall job report of American economy is going to come. Obviously, people who stay awake late in the night, my team, some members work around the clock. They are on night shift. They would know before. I'll be sleeping, but they will obviously text me, and then I'll get to see that message in the morning. But let's assume we'll come to know tomorrow morning that how the job report is. If the job report, that is the new jobs in America, turns out to be bad, remember last time recorded was about 85,000. This is far low than as compared to 2.5 lakh people used to get monthly jobs over there. So if this comes further down, then gold and silver get a boost. Why? Because lesser jobs, lesser PC, personal consumption expenditure, less inflation, less buying, and less chances of Fed rate hike, and of course gold, silver go up. If the job report comes healthy, that is more people got the job, this means there'll be more salaries, more things would be bought from the shelves, more PCE, higher inflation, exactly reverse of what I said earlier. So that will put some pressure on gold and silver. So I think before we go on to the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, when the markets are completely closed, the rates that freeze Friday night, you keep watching those rates for Saturday, Sunday. I've seen a lot of people who are in a habit of checking gold and silver rates many times during the day. They end up opening because of the habit, even on Saturday, Sunday, and eventually they come to know that the markets are closed and rates are not moving. That blinker is not, showing up. It's just freezed at the rate which was recorded last on Friday night. So basically, all eyes on the numbers which are going to come from America tonight on the job report in America. It's a very, very important number which impacts the stock markets. Because the stock market, if it comes low, the stock markets will sink, but the gold market will go up. So there's an opposite reaction between the stock markets. Although some stock market experts also say that the job numbers are low, inflation is low, and then the markets go up. Well, the markets may also go up if the numbers are low. So for stock market, it's a bit of a confusing scenario, but for gold market, it's definitely a scenario where if the numbers are even bad in terms of people who got the employment, then gold rally might come. And we saw 4,332 being hit. Thereafter, things cooled down because of the dollar index bond yield, which I just explained. But more importantly, long-term view of gold remains unchanged. Somebody who wants to invest must consult your investment financial advisor. This is not an investment advice. This is not a bait for you to come and invest in gold. This is just an analysis. But if I was you, I would have kept it for 2 to 5 years. And I would have bought in a staggered manner. I would not have put in the entire money at one go, which is the mistake most people do. So keep a watch. Let's see what happens tomorrow morning. Where does gold head? Although I am a believer of long-term gold prices, but because there's so much happening in America, and especially with the elections around the corner, the midterm poll, and Republicans seemingly losing their majority, I think the situation is going to be very, very interesting in the months to come. Probably September, October, November, and the rest of August is going to be very happening. So it's important for me to analyze on the basis of the developments which happen every day. If you like the contents of this channel, please do not forget, this is a new channel, just 7-8 videos, hardly 7-8 videos, very new channel. It will motivate me to bring more and more content for you, which will obviously help you in many ways. Anything which has got to do with money, I'm sure you will relish watching these videos, devoting those 8 to 10 minutes of yours. So please do subscribe. Please do comment on what else you want to hear. Also let me know, did you like the content of this particular video? And press the bell icon as well. While I'm going to see you again probably tomorrow. Thank you.